The business of the NBA is booming. The NBA Finals went 7 games. The Lakers were sold at a $10 billion valuation. And the NBA has an amazing media deal on the horizon. The old saying is, ball don't lie. Neither does money. It's Everybody Loves Sports Media. I'm Andrew Marchand. He's John Meterparel. Meet, how you doing?
Oh, you know what? Heat don't lie either. It's going to be 100 degrees in Boston this week. You know me, Marchand, I don't like to schwitz. So if I schwitz, we have a problem.
It's hot everywhere. NBA is hot. I want to ask you about that. Thursday, we have Michael K as the main event. Maybe put that a little bit early, but Thursday, Michael K, really fun main event. Let's just start. There's been a big issue. We talked about it. I wrote a column before the finals began about Mike Breen, Doris Burke, and Richard Jefferson. Your take on their 7-game series?
You know what? I thought they were good. I don't think they were necessarily great. I thought some used the term pedestrian when describing them, but I thought the most important thing to me for those three, and Doris Burke mentioned this, is that they got better as the season went along. I thought they had a much better second half than they did early on. So I'm not sure ESPN will keep them together. I know that's to be determined, but they became more cohesive. I thought Breen did a really nice job. He always does. The thing about Breen, when you're watching a big game, you know he is going to have control of it. He's not going to overwhelm you with emotion. He's not going to scream. He's not going to yell, but he has control. And I think Burke and Jefferson came to play off of him much better than they did early in the year.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably a jump ball if the three of them are together next year. I think it could go either way. Breen's definitely going to be back. Richard Jefferson's contract's up. I think he and ESPN both want him to return. Doris Burke, as we talked about, is in question. Rick Carlisle, head coach of the Pacers, addressed that before. There's a lot of support, but you listen to it. It kind of feels a little bit like a number 2 broadcast when I hear it. Not that it was bad. It just is not amazing. And I think Mike Breen said something to my colleague Richard Deitch in The Athletic before Game 7, and we've talked about this a lot. It does take a lot of times to meld together. All right, we'll get more into that in a little bit. We're presented by WSC Sports. You want to make your life easier? If you're a league, a network, a team, or anyone who uses clips, WSC Sports Digital Asset Management, a library that actually gets sports. WSC uses AI tags for each player and play type the moment a clip comes in. So news breaks, Digital Asset Management will make it so you can find the perfect clip in minutes, not hours. Check it out at WSCSports.com. Again, to listen to the entire podcast and all our podcasts, the archive, AndrewMarchand.com. Had a great fun one with John Oren for his monthly visit last Thursday. Kay on this Thursday.
Yeah, Oren, a couple shots on Boston. Nice job there, Bethesda boy. All right, here we go. What's up in your world, Marchand?
My what's up is ESPN's Sunday promo. Now, I mean, you know this. We like to be fair on this podcast, so sometimes we might take some shots. A couple weeks ago, we had a headline about how ESPN has to market itself better in terms of focusing on its games. I thought on Sunday they did a good job. Listen to this lineup, and this is what, to me, if you're selling an ESPN app this fall, what you're really selling. We can talk about Stephen A., we can talk about McAfee, we can talk about all the ancillary programming, you might say. But listen to Sunday, Travelers Championship. You had Premier Lax, College World Series, Caitlin Clark, Sunday Night Baseball, and Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Did a good job of saying this is what's on ESPN. You can only get those things on ESPN. To me, you want to bang that message home if you're the place formerly known as the worldwide leader. They don't like that nickname, but we're going to call it them anyway, because that's what you want. You want them to be known, if you're them, as the place you find the best games.
Yeah, makes all the sense of the world. My what's up? How about this? TJ McConnell, terrific guard for the Indiana Pacers. His father made an appearance on NBA TV post-game after Game 6. Let's hear it.
This is a dream come true, and I'm going to OKC for my son to play in the championship game to win the world championship.
25 years from now.
Yes.
All right, that was great television. You know why? Because it was authentic. It was emotional. It was genuine. It was every dad in America thinking, man, if my son was an NBA guard and he was in the NBA Finals, here's how I would feel. That's what I felt watching that. I thought Isaiah Thomas did a good job bringing him into it. The entire set did. You don't see that often. Some might say, oh, that's kind of hokey, but you know what? I'd much rather hear that than just see another highlight. So that, to me, they kind of left it all on the table for the emotional Mr. McConnell, and that was good TV.
Yeah, a lot of dads with the Pacers. You had Halliburton's dad, then you have McConnell's dad.
That's a little different situation.
was a little different. All right, my what's down is NBA TV nostalgia. Now, we get a lot about what NBC used to do back in the day, what CBS used to do back in the day, and I think that what's lost in that, not that I didn't like all that, and I do like the fact that we're going to talk about next year when we get to the questions. I do like that NBC is looking to use some of their nostalgia from the past. I think that's good. So I'm not against nostalgia, but the idea that when you do an opening, it's going to have the same impact now as it had when we were kids, John, it's just, to me, just like you're not understanding the environment. Nowadays, you have social media every 5 seconds. You have places like where I work, The Athletic, with a million stories that you can read. You have ESPN. When we were kids, there wasn't wall-to-wall First Take and Get Up and all these shows. You had maybe SportsCenter, but a lot of repeats of SportsCenter, so the noise wasn't constant. And so when you get to the finals and you want to make a promo and you want to do this, you want to make things bigger, it's much more difficult. I did like the anthem. I did like the intros. I thought that was good. But really what made it feel really bigger was it was Game 7. And so that was the most important thing. But the idea that they did a great job back in the day, but there was less. And so that made it easier to stand out. It made everyone's voices bigger. Howard Cosell would be, his voice, nowadays would be lost a little bit. Not that he did the NBA, but just an example of someone who could stand out even more because they had a distinctive voice and there were less voices out there.
How about Pat O'Brien outside Causeway Street, outside Game 7, Celtics-Lakers, 1984?
You from Boston, Meat? I don't know if...
No, I actually was born in Dallas.
If you could work in some references to Boston, would be good.
But
we are big in Boston, by the way.
I know we
biggest
are.
Market.
I know we are. We're huge, which is why I'm helping Marchand Sports Media cause. But that's what I relate to. I could go 76ers Lakers for you in '83 too.
I do, yes.
I know you call me old. All right, my what's down. Chip Carey, the TV voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. Unfortunate incident for him, a broadcaster's nightmare. He had a slip of the tongue. He misspoke. He used a slur when reading a promo for their Pride Disability Night. That's an upcoming event for the Cardinals. And it was a unfortunate word that we heard Tom Brenneman used. The difference is Tom Brenneman used it, I think it was premeditated. It was a hot mic, but Brenneman used this word that Carey used. Carey just had a slip of the tongue. And this has been documented by the St. Louis Cardinals broadcast team. They said they're not going to suspend him. He will not be disciplined. It was just an awkward, very awkward moment. There was awkward silence, 30 seconds of that, and then Brad Thompson, his analyst, kind of came in after that. And it's not much you can do. I tell you, I've had slips of the tongue, not that bad, but we all have. Sometimes you just misspeak, and that was an unfortunate moment for Carey.
Yeah, that was not a good one. That's not the type of, you never want to slip of the tongue, but that was particularly bad. So different than Brennerman, I think you're right in that and showing a little grace to him, but a weird one and not a good one. And then they were silent for like 30 seconds afterwards. So that was sort of awkward as well.
Yeah.
It's hard. What do you say? I don't know what you say there. I do know what you should do out there if you want to listen to the rest of the podcast and get more into the NBA, why the business is booming. And we're going to start off with the broadcast. Subscribe to become a paid subscriber, full-time subscriber, andrewmarchand.com. And let's start off